This is RadioOnFire.com. Yours truly, Diamond K, in here. Thank you for joining me. Of course, broadcasting from the Radio on Fire studios here in Baltimore, Maryland. Of course, we encourage you to visit RadioOnFire.com. We have brand new merchandise on sale there. And of course, if you miss any episodes of our programs, you can check it out right there. So 2018, as we come to a close, one thing is for sure, 2018 was a great year for music. And that's what we're going to talk about. The top 15 albums, rap albums of 2018. So we have a nice list here, and we are going to run those down right after this. Coming in at number 15, as I said, we're talking about the top 15 rap albums of 2018. Now, the Carter 5 is the 12th studio album by Lil Wayne. Now, it came out, of course, via Young Money / Republic / Universal Records, and features included were Swizz Beatz, XXXTentacion, Travis Scott, Kendrick Lamar, Regine, Snoop Dogg, Nicki Minaj, Ashanti, Mac Main, and Nivea. Now, initially, we were supposed to get this back in 2014, but of course, the contract disputes between Lil Wayne and Cash Money Records, as well as personal disputes with Birdman, slowed this whole thing down. And it was a lot of back and forth. So this album was recorded between 2012 and 2018. And we finally got it. Now, the thing about this is that I was worried because it had been so long since, the Carter 4 came out. You know what I mean? So people had moved on, I thought. But this project came out, and people just jumped on it. The Uproar song, of course, being a big hit. The Carter 5 debuted at number 1, 480,000 equivalent. So they count streams and different things, bundles, and all kind of stuff. It was the second largest streaming week for an album, with 433 million streams. So like I said, they do some conversion and stuff like that there. And it's also Lil Wayne's 4th number 1 album. So definitely a success. And as of November, it was platinum. So definitely salute to him. And like I said, the project was decent. I mean, I'm not going to say that the bar was like super low. I mean, because we're talking about Lil Wayne here. So definitely the bar was high for Wayne, and definitely the amount of time that had passed definitely put pressure on Weezy. So Carter 5 coming in at number 15 on our charts for the top 15 albums of 2018. Moving forward, Nicki Minaj, the reigning and defending queen of hip-hop, contrary to what you may think, this was the 4th album from the lovely Nicki Minaj, released, ironically, on my birthday, August the 10th. Now, this course came out via Young Money, Cash Money / Republic Records, and ironically, this is Nicki's 4th album, and it had been nearly 4 years since the release of her last project, which was The Pink Print, back in 2014. As she started recording late in 2016 and throughout 2017 and some of 2018. Handful of producers to help her reach this desired sound. Guest verses from Eminem, Foxy Brown, Future, Sway Lee, Lil Wayne, Ariana Grande, and The Weeknd. Of course, Labyrinth was also on there. On this album, as most of Nicki's albums, incorporating elements of pop and R&B. So there was a lot going on with this, and she did the rollout for this album. It was there was a lot. There was a lot. Of course, the packaging was shot by Merton Marcus, which featured Nicki topless, sitting on a log, wearing some pasties and a headdress inspired by like ancient Egypt, Cleopatra kind of vibe. But talk about the queen, so I get it. I definitely get it. Now, singles, Chung Lee was a single, along with Barbie Dreams, the album's third single, definitely a favorite. So she's done these three singles, and Majesty and Good Form were also scheduled to be singles respectively, but they were canceled. And Wayne remixed the Good Form. But ultimately, we're talking about a successful album. I mean, it was met with mixed reviews from a lot of people. I enjoyed the album. As far as commercial success, it debuted at number 2 and 185,000 album equivalents. You know how they convert stuff ultimately with bundles and all of this kind of stuff. But the album, from where we sit here, was a success, and I definitely am placing that as the number 14 hip-hop album of the year. Coming in at number 13, a lot of controversy surrounding the release of Pusha T's latest project. The Daytona being the title of the album. This is the third album by Pusha T, and it came out back in the springtime via Good Music / Def Jam. Guest appearances from Rick Ross and, of course, Kanye West. Now, here's the thing. Sonically, we're talking about a good soul sample, kind of a traditional Kanye type of vibe, although there was additional production from Mike Dean, Andre Dawson, and some uncredited vocals by Tony Williams and 70 Shake. So, let me say this. I enjoyed sonically the album. Now, this was actually recorded in Jackson, Wyoming, and in Utah. So I don't even understand how you get that from, that place. But I guess it ain't where you from, it's where you at. Now, initially, when you see the project, the artwork is what really stands out. And this was an actual photo of the late, great Whitney Houston's drug paraphernalia littered bathroom. The licensing for the photo, $85K, which was paid by Kanye West. And Whitney's ex, Bobby Brown, criticized the album. So you had that. Now, Drake responded to the song called Infrared on there. And he dropped a song called Duppy Freestyle. And Pusha T responded with a story of Adidon. So goes it, that whole thing. But we're talking about Daytona. And Daytona thumps. It definitely thumps. It was... I'm gonna say it's pretty much a masterpiece. The subject matter of Pusha T always, to me, is the downfall. How much drugs can you sell? How much weight can you push? And clever with his lyrics, he is. But a lot of people may rank this higher. I think that ultimately what hurts him as far as subject matter, the other thing that pushes this album further down the list for me is the length. This is really an EP coming in at just under 22 minutes. So how can this be the album of the year when it's not actually an album? We're talking about an EP. So definitely, people are going to have their thoughts. I think for we're not even talking about 30 minutes. So this, to me, can't be the album of the year when you only did half of the recording. Next, number 12, we're talking about the top 15 albums of 2018 is the Black Panther soundtrack. Kendrick Lamar lending vocals to every song. And the movie, amazing. Soundtrack, amazing. Coming in at just under 50 minutes of entertainment on this. Now, I like soundtracks, and we don't get soundtracks like this too often. Soundtracks back in the day used to bring a lot of crossover from the movie, and I think that this did this in a way. Ultimately, it just thumped. It just thumped. If you haven't had a chance to pick it up, definitely check that out. Number 12. Black Panther soundtrack. Now, number 11, and we're on this list, and we're moving our way to the top of this. It is Dummy Boy by the controversial Tekashi 6ix9ine. Now, this was initially scheduled to be released November 23rd. It was released 4 days later, however. And this is a follow-up to the Day 69 mixtape, which came out earlier in the year. So this project surprised me with the just a thump. It definitely thumped. Now, a little bit on the short side, 34 minutes, 30 seconds, but a lot was done. Now, a lot of these new guys tend to make their songs shorter, the actual song length. So the longest song on this project, under 4 minutes, right? So we got 13 tracks on Dummy Boy, and that's a very interesting title. So we're talking about features from Nicki Minaj, Lil Baby, Tory Lanez, A Boogie with the Hoodie, Gunna, Bobby Shmurda, just to say the least, Kanye West, a lot. I mean, it's really hard to talk about him without addressing some of his controversy. Now, everybody didn't like this album. I, however, liked it. I think that it showed his growth. It debuted at number 2, 66K in album equivalent units, 10,000 pure sales. So we're talking about streams that were converted over and all of that good stuff. Now, unfortunately for him, he hasn't been able to actually work the album because of the fact that he's in prison and did not have time to really set things up. There was a video shot, with Kanye and Nicki Minaj. But ultimately, this project is not going to get the just due because the kid's locked up. And that is unfortunate for him. So we're keeping this list rolling. Coming in at number 10, I've really enjoyed this album. This album just, pleasant listening. Redemption, J-Rock, and he did his thing. His third studio album, of course, Top Dog ENT / Interscope. This is West Coast hip hop at its finest, coming in at just under 45 minutes. You can hear some great hip hop. Lead single was called "The King Is Dead" with Kendrick Lamar, Future, and James Blake, and it was also on that Black Panther soundtrack. I mean, it's just hot. Just a hot project through and through. Now, it debuted at number 13 on Billboard, 31K in sales, 9,000 were pure album sales, and it was, or up to date, is J-Rock's highest charting album. So definitely salute to him. If you have not had a chance to check this out, you need to do it. West Coast. I always talk about the West Coast, and I'm a big West Coast fan. So coming in at number 9, we're moving back onto the other side of the country, and this is the Book of Ryan by Royce the 5'9". This is his 7th album, and came out in the springtime, released on his own Heaven Studios label / E1 Music. Guest appearances from Eminem, J. Cole, Pusha T, Jadakiss, Fabulous, T-Pain, Logic, Marsha Ambrosius. I mean, it's just this is a solid project. Coming in at just over an hour. You definitely need to check this out. I mean, it is thumping. Of course, Royce is one of the best rappers that I've heard. He wears his heart on his sleeves. This album is introspective in a way that a lot of people are not willing to give. They're just not willing to give that type of view. A lot of people are not. So the commercial performance of the album, everybody didn't hear this album, but everybody needs to hear this album. Just over 20K in album equivalent sales, but I highly recommend this project for fans of hip hop. Now, speaking of hip hop, coming in at number 8 on our list of the top 15 albums, it is KOD by the one and only J. Cole. His 5th album came out this spring. A lot of projects, come out in springtime. You want to drop the songs just before the summertime so you can get your songs in the rotation. Dreamville Records / Rock Nation / Interscope is how we got this project. Coming in at just under 43 minutes worth of listening. Album had 2 singles, KOD and ATM. Both of those singles were fire. Now, the album is it's something that was met with positive feedback from people. I think that whenever he drops an album, people are ready to listen and ready to really dig into it. Now, one thing that was refreshing is that there are no guests. I mean, the majority of the production of the album was handled by J. Cole himself. The album incorporates elements of jazz and trap, and it's just fire. He covers drug abuse, addiction, depression, greed, culture. You need to check this thing out. The album is platinum as of now, and it's going to continue to move up there. It's definitely one of the best albums, as we have it number 8 for 2018. Now, coming in at number 7. What else can be said about Drake that hasn't already been said? This is his 5th album. His 5th album came out right smack dead in the middle of the summer via Young Money / Cash Money / Republic. And it's a double album talking about 25 tracks, almost 90 minutes of music. Now, side A, hip hop, side B, R&B / pop. We had guest features from Jay-Z, Ty Dolla $ign, Static Major and Michael Jackson making appearances. Of course, Party Next Door, Future, Lil Wayne, and the City Girls. Album executive produced by Drake. And of course, 40, his frequent collaborator. I mean, the production, amazing. Album had singles like God's Plan, Nice for What, I'm Upset, Don't Matter to Me, In My Feelings, Nonstop, and Mob Ties. All 7 of these singles reached the top 20, with 3 of them making it to number 1. Nice for What, God's Plan, and In My Feelings, all number 1 records. In its first day of the release, it broke Spotify's one-day global record. Over 132.45 million streams. That's a hell of a lot. Hell of a lot. Nominated, this album was for Album of the Year, with God's Plan for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Rap Song, and Nice for What for Best Rap Performance. I don't even know what the difference is, but goddamn. So people can say what they want to say about it. Some people hate on it. Some people don't. Whatever. The album already certified platinum. Like, no problem. All this is small things to a giant. Now, as of right now, we're talking about triple platinum is where the album sits at right now. As of this recording, the album's triple platinum. So, it's going to probably be, 4 times platinum when it's all said and done. So definitely salute to Drizzy Drake, the number 7 album of the year. Now, number 6, this may surprise some people here. Metro Boomin, Not All Heroes Wear Capes. So we're talking about just under 45 minutes, but this is fire. Now, this is Metro Boomin, the producer. This is his debut album. And, we're talking about multiple guest appearances from Travis Scott, 21 Savage, Sway Lee, Gunna, Young Thug, Wizkid, Offset, Gucci Mane, Kodak Black, Drake, J Balvin. The album only had 1 single, which is called No Complaints. But this joint is fire. Fire. Debuted at number 1 on the charts. 100,000 album equivalents. This is obviously Metro Boomin's first number 1 album. Second week, it took a plunge, though, dropping to number 8. But it is fire. I definitely recommend this album. So we're going to keep this thing going. And this was a surprise to me when this project dropped. And we're talking about Everything Is Love from the Carters, also known as Jay-Z and Beyonce. Now, this collaborative album, we had been hearing, that it was coming. And I'm glad that it came by way of Parkwood Entertainment, which is Beyonce's label, / Sony Music, / SC Enterprises, which is Sean Carter, and Rock Nation. So, the album was produced Cool and Dre, Boy Wonder, and Pharrell Williams. Of course, we had appearances from Pharrell, Quavo, Offset, Ty Dolla $ign, among others. The album is fire, but it was not made public until its release was announced by Jay-Z and Beyonce while they were on stage during the On the Run 2 tour, and social media right after that. It was originally, as most of these projects from this dynamic duo, originally exclusively for Tidal, before being given a wider release a few days later. Everything Is Love debuted at number 2 on the Billboard. And, it was a commercial success. 3 nominations at the Grammys. So shout out to them for that. I just love this album. And people can give Jay-Z flack for this or for that, but this album is fire. This couple is fire. And they're not slowing down anytime soon. So this project, if you really listen to this project with a unbiased ear, it is fire. So that's why it is on our list. And coming in at number 4, what can this lady do that just doesn't turn to gold? Invasion of Privacy from Cardi B, a bona fide rap superstar. Came out in the springtime, and it combines trap, Latin, and R&B. And I love the project. Guest appearances from the Migos, Chance the Rapper, Kalani, SZA, 21 Savage, J Balvin, Bad Bunny, and YG. So, I mean, it's just, what can you say? 5 singles. Bodak Yellow, Bartier Cartier, Be Careful, I Like It, and Ring. So, I mean, 2 number 1 singles was Bodak Yellow and I Like It. Cardi has just been able to, she's been able to keep her shit hot. It's just, I was wrong, because I'm going to say this as many times as I need to say it, but during my show and on several shows, I thought that the baby was poor timing and was going to hinder her career. But she has bounced back in a way that proved me wrong and many others. Cardi is doing her thing and had one of the best albums of 2018. And on our list, she came in at number 4. Now, number 3 on this list, Nipsey Hussle, Victory Lap. This is, as I said earlier, this is just fire. This is just fire. Now, this is Nipsey's debut studio album. He's had other projects, but it was released in the wintertime through All Money In, No Money Out / Atlantic. And his first commercial release, he's had a string of mixtapes for 13 years. But this is his first album. And it debuted at number 4 on Billboard. And so just over 50K album equivalent units. This joint is fire though. So a lot of people can sleep on it all they want, but you need to check this out. Nipsey Hussle is one of the great ones. The race for victory paid off for Nipsey. Salute to him. This is, as I said, this is West Coast music at its finest. So I definitely encourage people to check out that. So we're in that elite space right here. Coming in at number 2. This was another sleeper. Surprise project, Astro World. 3rd studio album by Travis Scott. Came out in summertime. Via Cactus Jack Records, Epic / Grand Hustle. Now the album follows his second album, which was Birds in the Trap, Sing McKnight. And of course his collaborative project with Quavo. But this was a good goddamn album. Guest vocals from Kid Cudi, Frank Ocean, Drake, The Weeknd, James Blake, Sway Lee, Gunna, Philip Bailey, Nav, 21 Savage, Quavo, Takeoff, Juice WRLD, Sheck West, and Don Toliver, among others. So it is 3 singles: Butterfly Effect, Sicko Mode, Yosemite. I mean, this album is just hot. It's just, I mean, Travis to me is always been dope, but this album really is really well put together. We're talking about just under 1 hour worth of music. Now the album was recorded over a 2-year span, and he had been leaking out, different things from it, and all that kind of stuff. He was here in Baltimore and had a hell of a turnout for a concert at the Baltimore Arena. But I just think that he is someone who has been able to avoid the Kardashian curse, as I like to say. His album debuted at number 1 and went gold in the first week. So I mean, he's been certified platinum since then. But he's just doing his thing. The album, you definitely need to check it out if you have not. So we are right now at the spot that I love to be in. And that's the number 1 spot, the number 1 album of 2018 hip hop Meek Mill championships. I mean, this album really this is the fourth album from Meek Mill. I mean, it came out in November, and I understand, Atlantic Records / Maybach Music, and he dropped the EP earlier in the summer, right? But this thing right here, I mean, we're talking about guest appearances: Cardi B, Drake, wait, I said Drake, Kodak Black, 21 Savage, Jeremiah, PNB Rock, Fabulous, Future, Young Thug, LMA, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and others. This album had something for everybody. It showed growth. It gave you that raw Meek Mill that people fell in love with, that the hungry Meek Mill. You got nasty songs for the strip club. You got songs for the hood. You got songs talking about just the struggle. You got songs talking about prison reform and that whole thing. I love this album. Absolutely my favorite album that came out in 2018. It is very rare that somebody on their fourth album shows the kind of growth that he has shown, but he's been able to effectively keep his core while expanding his base. That does not happen often. Now, Championships debuted at number 1. So we're talking about 230K album equivalent sales. His second number one. And this was the 9th largest streamed album week for him. Now, if you have not heard this, this is one of those things that you can just put on and let play. We're talking about 70 minutes of music on this, 19 cuts. I mean, this is just fire. Now, aside from the fact that on the song with Jay-Z, What's Free, Jay gave you the verse of the year. That alone is worth listening to this album for. So I don't care for the people that say it dropped late in the year, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I mean, if you listen to this album, you tell me what album was better than this one. Tell me. It doesn't matter when it dropped. You could have dropped it in January. And, people might have said they forgot about it. This was the number one album. I don't care whether it came out in January or it came out in November. A better album did not come out in the 2018 calendar year than Meek Mill's Championships. All right? So let me say that. But I definitely encourage people to listen to all of the projects that we have on this list. As I said, this was a great year for music, and I'm just excited about 2018 and hoping that 2019 is going to be even bigger. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. See you guys.